Hello guys, welcome to this new project. In this project, you will learn how to build a flashcard quiz game using React. You'll understand key concepts like React fundamentals, event handling in React, then React hooks. In this useState hook, this manages flashcards, flipped state, score, and answered count dynamically, and next conditional rendering. Then fifth one is randomization and shuffling, by which using JavaScript methods, and Bootstrap for styling. Instead of Bootstrap we use Bootstrap grid system, and seventh is state updates and UI rendering, and eighth is progress bar implementation. Let's see the output of this project first. This is our flashcard quiz game. You can see 4 flashcards on the screen. When I click on a card, it flips and shows the answer. After flipping, I get 2 options: I knew it, or I didn't know. If I click I knew it, my score increases. If I click I didn't know, the score stays the same. Below, we have a progress bar showing how many cards we answered. Finally, we have a Shuffle Flashcards button to get new random questions. Now, let's inspect this project. We have used Bootstrap's grid system for better styling, so we don't need to create extra CSS files for layout. It helps us easily arrange the cards in a row and make them responsive. See here how smoothly it is designed. It automatically adjusts based on the screen size, so on mobile devices, the cards will stack properly for a better view. Bootstrap's grid system makes this super easy, and that's why I always prefer using it over manual CSS layouts. It saves time and makes the design more flexible. Now that you know how it works, let's start coding and build this step by step. Alright. First, create a new folder for our project and drag it into Versus Code. Now, we need to install all the required packages. Here, you might be wondering, what is Yarn? Well, I always use Yarn instead of NPM because NPM sometimes has vulnerability issues, while Yarn handles dependencies better and avoids those problems. It's faster, more secure, and ensures a smooth setup. So, let's go ahead and install everything using Yarn. By the way, I also made a video about Yarn on my channel. You can go and watch it to learn more about why I prefer Yarn and how it works. Alright. The installation is done. Now, navigate to the folder and start installing Bootstrap by typing yarn add bootstrap in the terminal. Now, your Bootstrap is installed. Go to the src folder and open index.js. Then open Google and search for Import React Bootstrap. Scroll down and then copy this line. Then open index.js and paste it here. First, delete the current code from app.js so we can start fresh. Now, let's begin by adding a simple heading to our project. Here, we import React because we are creating a React component. Every React component must start with this import to work properly. Next, we create a functional component called app. In React, components are like building blocks for our UI. In React, every functional component must return some UI. The return statement tells React what should be displayed on the screen. In our case, it is returning a div with a heading inside. We use a div with Bootstrap classes, container to center the content, text center to align text in the center, and metricton 5 to add margin at the top for spacing. Inside the div, we add an h2 heading to display our project title. This will be the first thing users see when they open our app. Finally, we export this component so it can be used in other parts of our project. Now open Google and search for emoji copy and paste. From here see the fire emoji. Here it is. Copy this emoji and paste it here. Now, it's time to run our project. Simply type yarn start in the terminal and hit enter. This will start the development server and open our project in the browser. Here, we can see our heading, Flashcard Quiz Game, displayed right at the center of the screen. Now, we will import Bootstrap and add the flashcard questions and answers. Again, copy this import line and paste it in app.js. Next, we define an array called all flashcards. This array contains multiple flashcards, where each flashcard has an ID, a question and an answer. This is the data we will use for our quiz game. Below the heading, we have a P element that dynamically displays how many flashcards we have by using all flashcards.length. Now, it shows we have 5 flashcards, but if we add more cards to the array, this number will update automatically. We create a function getRandomFlashcards that shuffles the flashcards and selects only 4 at random. This way, every time we refresh, we get a different set of questions. All flashcards creates a new copy of the all flashcards array. This is important because modifying the original array directly would cause unwanted changes in our app. .sort is a built-in JavaScript method that arranges elements in an array. Inside .sort, we pass a function. Math.random generates a random number between 0 and 1. Subtracting 0.5 shifts the range to -0.5 to 0.5, making the sorting completely random. This means each flashcard gets shuffled into a different position every time we call the function. .slice 0, 4 extracts the first 4 items from the shuffled array. What happens here? Flashcards. This variable stores the selected 4 random flashcards. Set flashcards. This function is used to update the flashcards whenever needed. useState, getRandomFlashcards, calls getRandomFlashcards to set the initial state with 4 random flashcards. Here, we can see a warning because we didn't mention useState in the import statement. So, let's go and add useState to our import like this. Now, let's remove the P element and replace it with this new div structure. This part of the code is responsible for displaying the flashcards in a Bootstrap grid layout. Key is equal to card.id. Ensures React tracks each flashcard uniquely. Kernel MD3 uses Bootstrap's grid system to make each card take up 3 columns on medium and larger screens, so we get 4 cards in a row. MB4 adds margin at the bottom for spacing. Card applies Bootstrap's card styling. Text center centers the text inside the card. P4 adds padding for better spacing inside the card. Shadow LG adds a smooth shadow effect to make the card visually appealing. Oh, here we are seeing an error in the card. That means we missed some lines in our code. Let's quickly fix it by adding the missing part. This creates a Bootstrap row to align flashcards properly. Row ensures cards are placed in a grid layout. Metricton 4 adds margin top to give spacing above the row. Flashcards.map loops through the flashcards array. Card represents each flashcard inside the array. Each flashcard is placed inside the row dynamically. This helps display multiple flashcards side by side in a responsive manner. In the output you can see 4 random flashcards appear, showing only the questions. Here, we are defining a new functional component called flashcard. It receives flashcard as a prop, which contains a question and answer. This means each time we render this component, it will display one flashcard. We use useState to keep track of whether the flashcard is flipped or not. Initially, flipped is false, so the question is shown first. When the user clicks on the card, set flipped updates the state and flips the card. In this return statement, we are rendering the flashcard component. This div represents one flashcard in a bootstrap grid system. Kernel MD3 makes each card take up 3 columns in a 12-column grid. MB4 adds bottom margin for spacing between rows. This is the main card container that styles the flashcard. Card applies bootstrap card styles. Text center centers text inside the card. P4 adds padding for spacing. Shadow LG adds a shadow effect to make it visually appealing. Cursor pointer changes the mouse cursor to a pointer, indicating it's clickable. Transition 0.3s smooth transition effect when flipping. Here when we click the card, set flipped, not flipped, updates the flipped state. This toggles between question and answer. This displays the question or answer inside an H5 tag. FW bold makes the text bold. A flipped flashcard.answer flashcard.question. If flipped is true, show the answer. If flipped is false, show the question. Now go down. Previously, we had this code inside the app component. This directly created a flashcard inside the app component, which hard-coded the card structure. But now, we are removing this block and replacing it with. Now, we can see the output. When we click on a flashcard, it flips and reveals the answer. If we click again, it flips back to show the question. This makes our quiz interactive and engaging. Now, we are adding this new feature to track our progress in the quiz. What does this code do? Our flipped and. This means if the flashcard is flipped, showing the answer, we display 2 buttons. This uses bootstrap classes to arrange the buttons neatly with space between them. Now, we need to add these buttons inside the flashcard component to let users track their answers. What will this do? When a flashcard is flipped, these 2 buttons appear below the answer. I knew it. If the user knows the answer, they click this button. I didn't know. If the user didn't know the answer, they click this button. Each button calls markCorrect, true, or markCorrect, false, to update the score or track progress. The bootstrap classes, btn success btn same and btn danger btn same, style the buttons with green and red colors and make them small for a better UI. This makes the flashcard game more interactive by allowing users to record their progress and see how many answers they got right or wrong. Now open Google and again search for this right emoji and copy. And paste it here. This line creates a red button labeled, I didn't know, that appears when the flashcard is flipped. BTN danger applies a red color to indicate an incorrect response. OnClick is equal to mark correct, false. When clicked, it calls mark correct, false, which tracks that the user didn't know the answer. Now copy-paste this wrong mark and paste it here. Oh, we are seeing an error here. Let's find out what it is. Yes, here we forgot to mention mark correct in the function parameters. Now, let's fix it by adding mark correct inside the parentheses. Now, we can see the output as expected. After flipping a flashcard, the buttons appear, allowing us to track whether we knew the answer or not. This is the final step in our project. This creates a score state variable to keep track of the number of correct answers. Initially, score is set to 0. setScore will be used to update the score when a user answers correctly. This creates an answered state variable to count how many flashcards the user has attempted. It starts at 0 and increases each time a flashcard is answered. setAnswered updates this count when an answer is given. Mark correct is a function that gets called when a user selects an answer. It increases the answered count by 1 each time an answer is submitted. If the answer is correct is true, it increases the score by 1. Here MB4, margin bottom 4, add spacing below the heading. Creates a progress bar to visually track how many flashcards have been answered. My 3, margin top and margin bottom 3, add spacing. The height is set to 20 px for better visibility. Progress bar creates the green, success, progress bar. The width dynamically updates based on how many flashcards have been answered. A answered or 4 answered displays the number of questions attempted out of 4. Shows the score below the flashcards. A score, A4 dynamically updates as the user answers questions. White heavy checkmark mark adds a checkmark for better readability. Metricton, 3 adds spacing at the top. Clicking this button shuffles the flashcards and resets the game. onClick is equal to set flashcards, getRandom flashcards, calls getRandom flashcards, to get a new set of random flashcards. btn primary styles it as a bootstrap primary button. Metricton, 3 adds spacing above the button. Counterclockwise arrows adds a refresh emoji for better UI experience. Here we can see flashcards are not so good looking. We increase its height. Here in styling keep height as 180 px. And now you can see how it's looking. OW, as we can see, when we answer a flashcard, the progress bar updates, visually indicating how many questions we have attempted so far. This helps track our progress throughout the quiz. Next, If we select the correct answer, our score increases accordingly. This ensures that we can measure how well we are performing in the quiz. Finally, we have a shuffle button, which, when clicked, loads a new set of random flashcards, allowing us to practice with different questions every time. This makes the quiz more engaging and helps in better learning. You can also find the full code in the GitHub link provided below in the description. Thank you guys for watching. If you found this helpful, drop a like and subscribe for more content.